As we delve deeper into the intricate narrative of Revelation, chapter 15 culminates with verse 8, which reads, "And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power, and no one was able to enter the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were completed." This verse not only concludes the chapter, but also sets a significant stage for the events that are to follow, illustrating the overwhelming presence of God's glory and power. The imagery of the temple filled with smoke is reminiscent of several Old Testament passages where the presence of God is manifested in a similar manner. For instance, when the tabernacle was completed and the Ark of the Covenant was placed inside it, the cloud of the Lord filled the tabernacle, making it impossible for Moses to enter. Exodus chapter 40, verses 34 through 35. Similarly, during the dedication of Solomon's temple, the temple was filled with a cloud representing the glory of the Lord, which overwhelmed the priests to the point that they could not stand to minister. 1 Kings chapter 8, verses 10 through 11. These moments in Scripture highlight the sheer majesty and holiness of God, which is so intense that it physically prevents entrance into the sacred spaces. In Revelation chapter 15, verse 8, the smoke filling the temple symbolizes the intense and pure holiness of God. This holiness is so profound that it acts as a barrier, preventing anyone from entering the temple. This imagery underscores a period of waiting and anticipation. Just as the Israelites had to wait outside the tabernacle and temple while the presence of the Lord was manifest inside, so too must all wait in reverence and awe while God's final acts of judgment are being prepared and then executed. The smoke from God's glory and power is a visible sign of his active presence and a reminder of his sovereignty over all creation. The inability to enter the temple until the completion of the plagues speaks to the exclusive nature of God's work in this moment. It suggests that the actions about to be undertaken by the 7 angels are deeply holy and reserved solely for God's initiation and control. The completion of these plagues represents the fulfillment of God's promises of judgment and justice. It is a period during which human intervention is neither necessary nor possible, highlighting the absolute sovereignty of God over the final judgments. For believers reading this passage, it serves as a powerful reminder of the reverence due to God. It emphasizes that God's plans are enacted on his terms and according to his timing. The awe-inspiring depiction of his glory filling the temple to the point of exclusion illustrates that God's ways and thoughts are indeed higher than human ways and thoughts. It invites believers to trust in God's ultimate control and perfect judgment, especially in times when his ways might seem mysterious or difficult to understand. Moreover, this scene calls for humility and submission to God's divine will. Just as no one could enter the temple, believers are reminded that there are times when they must wait on the Lord and respect the boundaries he sets. It teaches patience and reverence, virtues that are essential for a faith that endures through trials and tribulations. The passage also encourages a perspective of hope and assurance. The mention that no one could enter till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were completed implies that there is an end to these judgments. This completion signals the fulfillment of God's plan and the eventual restoration of all things. It assures believers that despite the severe and terrifying nature of the judgments, they are part of God's good and redemptive purpose, leading to a new creation where God's glory and power are fully revealed and unhindered. Revelation chapter 15, verse 8. Not only marks the conclusion of a significant chapter in the apocalyptic narrative, but also encapsulates key themes of God's holiness, sovereignty, and the sanctity of his judgmental actions. It reassures believers of the ultimate victory of God's glory and power over all evil and injustice, urging them to live in reverence of his majesty and to trust in his perfect timing and justice. This passage, rich with symbolic imagery, invites deeper reflection on the nature of God and the appropriate human response to his ineffable holiness and power.